Welcome to the Mini Maker Book Club, where we make literacy come alive for your child through artistic expression. Let's find out what this month's box is all about.
Hello Mini Makers, I'm Candace with Paisley Grace Makery, and today we are going to paint our summer Mini Maker box. So let's open it up and take a look at what's in here. So our Mini Maker box is our bi-monthly subscription box, and in that box you're going to get a book for your child that coordinates with what the projects are, and then you're going to get a project or two. So this month, if you notice, if you're one of our regular makers, you'll notice this box is pretty big, and it's because we have a nice big project. We have one project this month, and it's a little bit bigger. So starting off, we have this really cute book. It's called Kid Inventors, and it's the story of 35 kids and their inventions. But if you see these fun little popsicle sticks over here, that's where we got the inspiration for our project this month. So the book may not go exactly with the project, but it's going to tie into it. So lots of cool stories in here. You definitely want to read through this book. So also in your book, you're going to get your paints that you need to complete your project. So we've got our paints here. You're going to get all the supplies for your project. So we've got sponges for painting, distress brushes, a little bit of sandpaper, some glue to put it together, and also the little instruction card so that if you are not sure what you're doing with anything, you can read right through the instructions. So, and we always do a video that shows how our project goes together and how we painted it. Sometimes we're going to teach you new techniques in there. So you'll have that inside your box. You'll also have a little flyer that has a little QR code that will get you to that video also. And now we get to see our project for this month. So this is such a fun one. It's just cute, and I love the colors we picked out to go into it. So it kind of spun around, but you get 3 popsicles on this sign. You can see it's an 18-inch sign. This will be real cute to hang in your bedroom, hang on your bedroom door, hang somewhere in your kitchen or in a playroom. Lots of great places that you can put this. So it is a laser wood project. So you're going to take everything apart, paint it separately, and then glue it all together. So let's get started on our box. Hello Mini Makers, I'm Candace with Paisley Grace Makery, and today we are going to paint our summer Mini Maker box. So let's open it up and take a look at what's in here. So our Mini Maker box is our bi-monthly subscription box, and in that box you're going to get a book for your child that coordinates with what the projects are, and then you're going to get a project or two. So this month, if you notice, okay, so we've got everything out of our box. Now what's also great about our box here is that it comes with this little bit of tissue. You can just put that to the side, but you can also take this box and open it all the way up, spread it flat, and then you can paint your project right on top of this box. And then that way you don't get paint on your mom or grandma or your dad's table, so that nobody is saying, oh, stop making a mess, because all the mess will be right here in this box. And when you're done, you just fold it up and throw it away. Make sure to put your book away to the side too, so that you don't mess that up. And then we're going to open our project. Make sure to put your book away to the side too, so that you don't mess that up. So one of the things that I do like to have on hand is a pair of scissors. Make sure you're getting your parents' help with that, okay? If you're not used to using scissors, we don't want you cutting yourself. So we're just going to cut this plastic shrink wrap off here. Get our project all ready. So you're going to have the outside frame. You can just set that up there. And then you're going to have your 3 popsicles. And I'm just sliding those. And if you notice, I said I'm sliding them because all of this is separate pieces. So your little outside frame is going to come off of each one. Okay. You can set those up, down, to the side, however it is you want to work with them. If any of your pieces don't come out real easy, have your parent pop them out. They can use a little sharp tool if you happen to have some that stick. So you'll have all your 3 little frames separate. Your little popsicle stick part will be off down to the side. I'm just going to put all these things to the side. Sometimes you'll have a little bit of a edge where the wood might be a little sharp. You can use your sandpaper that comes in your kit. I'm going to open up my little tool kit here, have all my stuff. So I can just take my little bit of a sandpaper and just rub it right over there. It's kind of fun to do. And then I'm going to take the centers out of this so I can paint those a different color. And then this little spiral one comes all apart, okay? So you want to think about that as you're painting, okay? What you're going to do. And then this time we gave you some really fun, bright colors. So you'll see you've got definite choices of what you want to use. You have all of these fun colors. You have a little brown that's great for doing your popsicle sticks. And then we've got a pink, a teal, a purple, a yellow, green, and orange. So you've got just about every color you could think of there. So think about what you want to be what color on your popsicles. So see how I laid it out? It makes it easier when I go to paint. especially on something like this swirly one because it's every other one. Now, if you want to paint that so see how I laid it out? It makes it easier when I go to paint, especially on something like multiple colors. You can do that also. It's totally up to you. This is your project. You get to paint it however you want to paint it. If you want to paint it all one color, you can do that too. Multiple colors, you can do that also. It's totally up to you. This is your project. You get to. So we also do like to use our blue painter's tape, and you can have your parents help you with this. It's nice to just lay it down upside down so that it sticks to the table, and then the sticky part is up. And then all I'm going to do is sit here and alternate my pieces. So let's see, if I do that color, then that's going to be the other color, this is going to be this color, this is going to be that color, this is going to be this color, this is going to be this color, this is going to be this color. So I just alternated those pieces so I know what was going to be what color. Just makes it a little less confusing when it's time to start painting. And I'm going to take my tape, sticky side up, and then just stick these wood pieces to it. That way, when we're painting, it's not going to slide all around, okay? So in your kit, you also have a bunch of little sponges. So each color has its own sponge. So you can go ahead and set those out if you want. And we're going to start painting this first swirly popsicle. So you want to take the lids off of your paint. When we're painting, we want to remember that a little bit of paint is going to go a long way, okay? So as you're putting your sponge in, you don't want to dunk it down in too deep. So you're going to take the little skinny end of your sponge, and that's the part you're going to hold on to, and then the bigger end, for more area for your paint, is going to go down below. And you want to take that sponge and you want to just kiss the top of your paint, okay? You just want to barely touch it, and then you want to wipe off that excess paint, okay, off of your sponge, okay? And then it's good to have a little paper towel beside you, or we use these little blue shop towels here in our studio. And it's good to sit there and hop off on that paper towel so you get off any extra, and then you're going to start hopping on your project. Now, if you're really good at scraping off and not getting too much paint, you may need a little bit more faster. So you want to keep doing that technique, hopping on your project, and you want to hop that paint out until it's not shiny anymore. So you want to think about this being like if you put sunscreen on you at the beach, okay? You don't want it sitting right on top of your skin. You want to rub it in. So we're not going to rub though, we are going to hop. And as you hop around with the sponge, it's going to spread that paint out. So don't put a whole bunch of paint in one area. You want to do multiple thin little coats of your paint, okay? So that's all we're doing on this whole thing. We're going to do it this little teal. If you have too much paint on your sponge, that's when you want to hop off on this blue paper towel to get it off so that the paint doesn't ooze everywhere, because when you have paint all bulked up on there, it's just not as fun. It takes forever to dry, your project doesn't look as good. So it's good to take your time, just do a little bit of paint at a time. So we also do like to use our blue painter's tape, and you can have your parents help you with this. It's nice to just lay it down upside down so that it sticks to the table, and then the sticky part is up. And then all I'm going to do is sit here and alternate my pieces. So let's see, if I do that color, then that's going to be the other color, this is going to be this color, this is going to be that color, this is going to be this color, this is going to be this color, this is going to be this color. So I just alternated those pieces so I know what was going to be what color. Just makes it a little less confusing when it's time to start painting. And I'm going to take my tape, sticky side up, and then just stick these wood pieces to it. That way, when we're painting, it's not going to slide all around, okay? So in your kit, you also have a bunch of little sponges. So each color has its own sponge. So you can go ahead and set those out if you want. And we're going to start painting this first swirly popsicle. So you want to take the lids off of your paint. When we're painting, we want to remember that a little bit of paint is going to go a long way, okay? So as you're putting your sponge in, you don't want to dunk it down in too deep. So you're going to take the little skinny end of your sponge, and that's the part you're going to hold on to, and then the bigger end, for more area for your paint, is going to go down below. And you want to take that sponge and you want to just kiss the top of your paint, okay? You just want to, okay? This is looking really great with just one coat of paint. If yours needs 2 coats of paint, let the first coat dry before you do the second coat. Almost done with this color. Okay, everything's done there. I'm just going to put that paint to the side. And I'm going to go into my pink. I'm going to do the same technique. Just touch the top of the paint, scrape off the excess, and then start sponging. And you're going to do this on all of your popsicle pieces. This is going to be such a fun project for you to display in the summertime at your house. You always have this little memory of painting it. We're going to be doing summer camp here, and we have the cutest projects coming up. So if you are local to us and you are in the area, or you're going to be visiting Fernandina this summer, we have a week in June and a week in July that we have jam-packed full of projects. We have lots of great projects that we're going to be doing. So definitely ask your parents about that to see if that's something you can do. This is going to be the cutest popsicle. I cannot wait to see how you guys paint your boxes. Remember, you can always share pictures with us. We love to see when you create. You can send those to us on Facebook or in our email. Your parents can help you with that. Have them say, take a picture of me with my project all done, because we would love to see your finished projects. Especially if you hang it up in your room, definitely send us a picture of it. Let's see. Okay, now we're on to our next popsicle. So I'm going to do the main part first, which I'm doing is the purple, doing the same technique. I did not tape this down just because it's a bigger piece. If it's easier for you to have it taped down, you can certainly do that. Usually when it's a bigger piece, I don't tape them down. When I get to my little inserts there, we will tape those down though. This is a great project to just have like some music playing in the background that you can sing along to while you're painting. You and your siblings, so we have some mini makers that get multiple projects for the siblings to paint. It's interesting to see how everybody takes the same colors of paint and paints them completely different. So that's always fun too. You can get more detailed on here if you want to. You can always add extra lines with our little paintbrush that we include in there. So you can do some extra details and add on to it too. So the options are endless. You can always change up other colors. If you have been a mini maker for a while, you may have some paints left from another kit and you save those. You can absolutely grab those and use those instead of the colors that we gave you. It's the great thing is this is your project and you get to paint it however you want. Okay, we're going to move on to our third one here because I'm still not sure what color I want to paint those in the middle. Sometimes it's hard to decide when you've got so many great colors to use, and I used a little bit of all of them. This one, because it's 3 pieces and we got these 3 colors, it made me think of little citrus. So we got a little bit of lemon, a little lime, and a little orange. I thought that was a fun combo. You could do a pink and yellow and it'd be like strawberry lemonade flavor. Okay, so just touching the top, scraping off the excess paint, and then hopping on my project. Make sure that you're spreading that paint out so that it's not all wet and goopy. If you see any area that looks wet and goopy, just take your sponge and hop all over it and spread it out onto your project. Okay? All over. This one's so cute. This style of popsicle also kind of makes me think of the bomb pops that are the red, white, and blue. Those are fun too. Yeah, we got our little orange section here. Pop, pop, pop. Spread that paint out. Alright, it's looking good, looking good. So one thing you'll notice when you are painting, it will start to look a little fuzzy almost. You'll see like, why does the wood look like that? And that is because when you paint, you add moisture to the wood and it raises the grain of the wood up. So that's another thing that you can use your little sandpaper for that's in your kit, is once you're done painting these little pieces, you can go in and just very gently wipe it down and it will get off and make it all smooth again. So I'm looking at my pieces here and seeing what needs a second coat. I think this one looks great. The purple one though is going to need one more coat. So it's just however it looks to you and if you think it needs another coat. So I'm going to do another coat real quick on my purple just so it's nice and solid and bold. Something that I think is cool is we also have a maker box for our adults, and this month they have a popsicle door hanger, so it all kind of goes together. We did that last month with our bee theme also. So if your mom is painting her box, she's doing some popsicles too, so it's going to seem a little familiar to you if you see her door hanger. Okay, so there we go. So I need to think about what I'm going to paint the inside of that now. What do we want to do? What do we want to do with these inside pieces? I want to do this teal, I think. I think that's what I'm feeling. I am going to get a little bit of tape to stick these 2 little pieces down, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab my little teal color. Same technique, scraping off, and I'm just going to hop, hop, hop. Spread out, spread out. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to do our popsicle sticks themselves. Those are going to be brown. Yours don't have to be brown. What color do you want to paint yours, do you think? You thinking about that? And this, you can also put a piece of tape down to tape all these down together and paint them all at one time. They should all fit inside of each other, even if you mix them up. Should not be a problem. Okay, so that is all the brown we are going to use today though, I think, for mine. Now, I just have to decide what are these outside frames gonna be. That's the nerve-wracking part. So, let's see. This one, I think I'm just gonna do the teal because I did the teal on the inside, so it's gonna kind of go together. You could paint them all white if you wanted to, or if you had some black at home from another kit, you could paint them black. If you just wanted to be an outline. But this is a great way to add some more color to each popsicle and make it unique. And then on this one, I think I'm going to do its frame in purple. So we have a little bit of purple, a little bit of pink, a little bit of teal. That's going to be a pretty popsicle. Okay, and then we have one more frame to do. What do we do? What do we want to do? I think I'm going to do the yellow. I'm just going to do the yellow and do the whole frame in yellow. It's bright and sunshiny. It makes me think of summer, the sun, some lemonade stands. You can hear the people outside here doing the lawn. I don't know if you can hear that. That's the sign. It's definitely getting to be summertime when they start doing the lawn more. Okay, so now that is all of our popsicle pieces. So now you can just move those off to the side, or you can move to a different part of your box. If you're working on your box, you can just move over to the other side because we're going to do our background now. So I'm just going to move these out of the way so that you see what I'm doing. It'll be nice and quick. Now, this next part, we're going to do a fun little technique on it. First, we're going to take and paint the background of it, okay? So, I'm going to use my big sponge with my white paint first. So, big areas, big sponge, okay? We're going to use that same technique of going in, touching our paint, and then scraping off that excess, okay? But now this time with our sponge, we're going to push that paint right into our board. So you're going to push down and slide it back and forth. We are still going to spread that paint until we don't see it shiny anymore, okay? Then we're going to keep repeating that same process all the way across. Okay, you see we've made score lines in our board where your popsicles mount, okay? So say you wanted to put your popsicles in a different place than where we showed you though. You've got the back side and it's plain. So you can always use that to put your popsicles on too. So if you'd rather put your popsicles in different directions, you can absolutely do that. But we kind of try to make it easy to give you a framework of where to start with your popsicle. Okay, and all I'm doing is taking that paint and spreading it out. This is where you're really going to be like putting on sunscreen. You definitely want to get that paint rubbed in real good into this board, just like you do sunscreen. You're doing a real nice, good, thin coat. By the time we get over here to the side, we should be fine to do the next coat. Just want to give it a real good base before our next technique. Okay. All right, so it's still a little wet over here, but this side is all dry because I did a nice thin coat. So I'm able to go back in and do the same thing right on top now. If this paint was still wet and I tried to spread wet paint on top of it, it would just slide right off. It's not going to add more paint because wet paint can't stick to wet paint. So you definitely want to make sure that bottom coat is dry before you try to add on to it, okay? So I'm just smoothing it out, making sure it's nice and smooth. Halfway there. My popsicle stick almost painted onto it. All right. Now, I'm not too worried about this next part staying, that this board is dry before I start this because I'm going to kind of blend everything anyway. So we're going to do a little fun tie-dye thing here. So your parents, if you have a parent that's doing it, kind of did a similar technique, but we're going to get even crazier because why not, right? Okay, so I'm going to line up my different colors that I've got here, and I'm going to use all these colors on my background. Okay, so I am going to start with some of my lighter colors and then move over here into my darker colors. So I'm going to start here with this one. I'm going to have a wet wipe handy. So if you've got baby wipes at your house or some wet paper towels, that's what you want to use. You can use a cup and wash this brush out, but that is going to put a lot of water in your brush, and we don't need a lot of water for this, so this is why it's great to use a wet wipe to kind of clean in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip in there. Now, normally with our distressing brushes, we take a lot of this paint off. I'm not going to do that today because I'm going to do this kind of tie-dye look. So I'm just going to go along and I'm going to spread it in different areas along here. Okay, kind of wet and goopy. Okay, then I'm going to take most of that off. It's okay if it doesn't all come off. And then I'm going to go in and grab my next color. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to spread that paint out everywhere. Now, you do not have to do your background like this. You can do just paint it, and I know we've showed you distressing before. You can do regular distressing or no distressing. It's totally up to you what you want to do. I just thought this would be fun with this sign because there's so many colors in it. Okay, and if you don't want to use all the colors to do your background, don't use them. All I'm doing is going along and adding these colors in, however much I want of each one. Wherever I want it. It's a totally random thing here. That's what makes it fun. Okay, I'm going to do some purple now. It looks a mess right now. I know you're probably thinking, Candace, what are you doing? It's gonna be fun though. Just wait and see. Okay, and then our last one. What's funny is this is kind of what our toddler times look like when our toddlers come into paint, and they kind of gave me the inspiration for this. They like to make a little tie-dye effect in all their projects. So, okay, now we're going to take our white paint back on our sponge. We're going to start here and we're going to start spreading this out. If it starts mixing too much, just wipe off on the side, get more white, and start spreading again. I would just do it for a little bit and then go wipe it off and start fresh again. And this is where it just gets fun, because you can go back in and add paint in areas that you don't have a certain color you want. Remember, there are no mistakes in painting, just happy accidents. So I definitely want to add some more of my teal into this. So that's what I'm going to go back and add some of that. This is going to make such a neat background for all of those bright color popsicles. So I'll go back in with the teal now, and I'm going to do more of our distressing technique here. And you can just have fun with this. Remember, there's no rules in painting other than have fun. So that is the #1 rule we have here in our studio. So you can do it however you want. There are some bristles from this paint in here. I'm just trying to get off here. What a fun background this is. And you can take your favorite color and add it on top like I'm doing. This is the one I wanted to highlight on here. I'm just using more of that distress technique where I'm just brushing it lightly across the top so that I see more of it in my tie-dye effect. Okay. And once you get to where you like it, and it's how you want it to be, that's when you stop. Okay, this is all what you want your masterpiece to look like. So this is what I'm going with right here. How fun is that? So lots of fun there. And then I get to pick a color to paint my frame while this is sitting over here drying. Okay, so we've got our little frame, and what am I gonna do here? I think I might do it pink. Now, I'm just gonna take my pink. We're using that same technique of dipping our sponge, hopping alongside our frame here. How much fun did you have doing the tie-dye effect? Did you do it? You like that? Did you think, oh my gosh, I'm making a mess, and then it comes out this beautiful, pretty effect? It's a lot of fun. You can also get a similar effect just by using your sponge and sponging over with the different colors, taking your sponge and just going over the areas with your different colored sponges. A fun little way to do it also. You want to use it to do a wild background, because let's face it, when you got bright colors like this, you just want to use them all. You want to have fun. So once we get this frame painted, and we're going to make sure our base is dry. I'm probably going to hit it some with the hair dryer so that we can make sure it's really good and dry, because you definitely need it to be good and dry before you try to start gluing things on, okay? Because it won't stick well, it will not look good if you just start trying to glue to wet paint. That won't work at all, will it? So by this time, I know my popsicles over there are real nice and good and dry. We're gonna put our frame to the side, and then it'll be dry by the time we're done gluing our popsicles on, and so then we can put it on. So it's all little steps to finish your project and your masterpiece. Okay, so I'll push my paints out of the way here. I'll put my frame to the side. I'm going to get my tie-dye backer plate here, which I got some paint on the side from my distress brush. And I do have a hairdryer back here. Bit at the top where my distress brush hits, so I'm just going to wipe that off. And then I'm going to get another one of our wet wipes ready off to the side, because when I do my glue, I want to have it to be able to clean my finger, because I'm going to use my little technique of my glue. So if you could still see your lines of where we painted, that's the best. And what I like to do is pour some of this glue out onto my project, because I'm impatient sometimes, and I like to spread it around on those areas that we have to glue, okay? So it's real easy when you've got it all lined out for you like this. Rather than trying to do the pieces separately and glue them, you can just put the glue right onto what you're going to be putting it down on, okay? Only thing is you want to make sure you get to the edge where that little outside frame is going to be. If you want to glue that one separately, you can do that too, okay? Just get that there, and then I'm going to put my finger there. Now I'm going to take my frame first, and I'm going to lay that down right on that outline. If you can't see your outline, ask your parents for some help, okay? Sometimes when you're painting, it covers it up, okay? But you can also put the popsicle where you want it to be. Remember, I said you don't even have to use the outlines if you don't want to, because you can make it however you want. You can put these kind of turned sideways if you wanted to. That's completely up to you. Then I'm just gonna start here at the bottom, and I'm gonna put my popsicle together, alternating my strips. And it's just sticking straight down because I've got glue down there everywhere. This swirly popsicle is coming together amazing. Love it. Looks so good. Okay, and then all we have left is our little stick to put in the bottom. So, and we've got one popsicle stuck down on our tie-dye background. Okay, so then we do the same thing with the next one. You've got one of these glue pots for every one of your popsicles. So you should have plenty, because you'll have a little bit left in each one to take around the outside. We do have a brush in there if you don't want to use your finger. Sometimes in certain areas it's easier to take the brush and take it and go right to the edge with your brush first. You can get to the edge a little bit easier with the brush and then finish spreading out with your finger, or you can use the brush and do the whole thing. It's completely up to you. Some people don't want to touch this glue. I'm used to my fingers getting messy though. So take this. Okay, and then, oh, this is the one with the bite out of it. You see that? I'm gonna put that right on our line. Push that down. This sign is so much fun. I love it. Put the middle piece in, the two little bars, and our popsicle stick. And then we've got our last one. Remember, this was I did it like a citrus one. It's my citrusy popsicle. I'm gonna use my brush, go around the outside frame. How are you guys doing with yours? You getting it all done? You gonna share some pictures and show me how you painted it? I would love to see that. If you need some help with this glue part, make sure and ask your parents. They will help you, or whatever adult is helping you with your project today, so that you get your stuff glued down real good. It's really important that you want to get it glued down real good. A little bit of glue everywhere, not too much so that it's not oozing out all over your project. But that's one good thing about this technique, is that it's all underneath. So as long as you don't put too much to the edge, it won't ooze out and make a mess, because big globs of glue aren't pretty on your project. So you want just enough to hold everything down now. Is it going good? Now we're going to get our last frame. I think it's easiest to start with the frame. Put it right where you need it to be, and then fill in your parts. Now, remember what I was talking about sanding? I like to do that once my popsicles or once my pieces are all glued down and dried. Then you can come back and just use your sandpaper and go over it real light, okay? So we're not going to do it right now because my stuff is still wet and it'll just be moving everywhere, and the little dust from your sanding will get into your project. We don't want that. Okay, so we've got all 3 popsicles glued down there on our pretty bright, colorful background. Okay, and then we are going to put our frame on. Do you like doing the tie-dye effect this time? It's something different. We don't normally do it, so I thought it'd be fun to do with you guys. But remember, it's your project. You can paint it plain. You can do a regular distressing technique on it. You can paint it one of the other colors that comes in your kit. If you're super fancy and know how to do an ombre effect, you could do that too. You could do rainbow stripes using all the colors and working all the way across your frame. Just making a line with each color as you do your background. There's a lot of ways you can do it. So as you can see, I've got plenty of glue left here to add onto my frame, and this is definitely going to be easiest done with your paintbrush. Just make sure you get enough on there that it doesn't dry immediately, but not too much that it's going to ooze out everywhere. Okay, and then once you put this on, this may be a part where you definitely want to get an adult to help you with putting this frame on, because you want to line it up on all your corners, and then you're going to need something probably heavy to hold it down. It doesn't have to be super heavy, but something that can weight it down all the way around so that it sticks all the way to your project, okay? Because you don't want half your frame sticking out. That would not be good. I'm just going all the way around. Hey, Mojo. Mojo. I thought I was getting somebody's attention. If one of you makers has somebody that works here, I was going to see if she could come be in our video for a minute. 1 or 2 of you makers, anyway. Okay, so I'm going to pop this on. This is where you want to make sure it lines up in every corner of your project. Okay, and then it may want to bow up in the middle, so you're going to want to get some books to hold that down, something heavy. But that is our mini maker project for our summer box, our May box. So love to see how you paint yours, what yours looks like. I'm going to show you mine here in a second. It's going to have to continue gluing, but nobody wants to sit and watch that while this whole frame sticks down. I'm just making sure it's all even before I lift it up. That's what mine looks like. So thank you for painting with me today.